Hey everybody, I'm back. It's Criss here, your friendly crafter. Hopefully you guys are ready to have some fun today, learning how to craft with craft wire, head pins, using some bagged metals, and we've got some tools for you to use with our simple loop. So today let's start with tools. So in order to make some earrings, you have to have at least three basic things. You need some chain nose pliers, right? So they have a little narrowing to them. On this one, there's a cutter. They're not all created the same. It's nice that this is here, but I don't love that just because it's not a top of the line quality, but it works. And then you've got your round nose pliers, which you have to use to make your earring loop. And then you've got a pair of bent chain nose pliers, or you could use flat, which really this one is, and they make a wider one as well. I don't love the wider one for making earrings, but it's good for wire working.
But the three she's showing are on the website.
Correct.
And this one's listed as needle nose on the website.
Okay, gotcha. And then we have a pair of cutters. The slimmer and narrower you can get, the closer you're going to be able to cut to your bead and to your wire. So I always really like this angle on this style. This is a really good quality one. It's actually so good. My husband bought this pair and he uses them out in the shop for everything. So it's perfect for wire cutting too. Then I will introduce towards the end, I will do a hollow round nose. So if you take a good look at this, you can see it's a little bit angled and round here, and then you've got a bar here. So I will show you how to use those.
The hollow round nose is
also on the website. I don't prefer to use this one because I've taught many classes learning the other way, so I'm just more comfortable doing it with the regular round nose pliers. But I'm going to show you both. So let's start with some bagged metal, just so that you guys can see what's going on here. We have pieces that are, Garrett, what are these called?
And the caps. They're caps. Fairly familiar with the bag metal because I show it on the videos.
Bead caps are great, but they're another way to enhance an earring. So you've got a top and a bottom, or you can do just a top, and I've just flipped that over for purposes so that you guys can see. And then, you know, you can go small. It has to do with how big your bead is, whether you want to go big or small. And then we've got another smaller one here. That's really cute. That can just dress something up. Yeah. And I saw somebody do something the other day where they actually tipped their bead the opposite direction, so it was angled, so it kind of looked like a flower on both sides. That's an option too.
Huh.
Yeah, you really can do anything. It's up to you. So I'm also showing a lot of beads that I just happen to have floating around at home, ladies and gentlemen, because
they bought the glass pearls from us. They bought the crystal from us. So there's not much here they haven't seen on our videos.
It's easier to teach earrings with a bigger bead, just because it's easier for you guys to see, and you're learning something new with your hands that aren't used to going the direction that I'm going to show you how to go. And having something big to hang on to is just so much more convenient. Okay, we've got some fun little Halloween ones. Halloween is coming up, October. I know we're almost September.
Yeah.
It feels like we're almost there already, right around the corner. So you've got some pumpkins. You've got some
hummingbird skull.
Hummingbird skull.
Yeah.
All right. And then you've got more pumpkins. And then we've got some sports stuff. And I have some other beads here that I can show you how to put those together with, but they're fun. And then look at this. Is this not the cutest? This little witch's hat. It's so cute. So I love that too.
Yep. And all of the metal that we're showing here we got from the website. So
correct. So
it's all there.
All right. So hopefully you guys were with me last time when I did my very first video, and we did some large hole beads and we did some leather. Well, now that we've done that, all I've got to do is just make some earrings, right? All I've got to do is open those babies up and create some earrings. And I didn't have to use anything other than a pair of scissors or cutters. Now, in order for you guys to use your ear wires, you can't undo this hole, this circle. So you have to bend it. You can't pull it apart. You actually have to twist and open. The reason why you twist and open is because you don't compromise your ear wire. So I open that up and it's just a twist. So that means that you have to hold on here and create some amount of strength there. So you can see that we've done that. It's super cute, super easy, not hard at all. What do you think, Garrett? Not
nice.
It's easy, you know, for the person who doesn't have the dexterity to work with beads like they want to. That's a great option. So that's fun. And then I did another variation on that. So here is your simple loop. Here, let me hold this with the pliers so you guys can see. Here's your simple loop up top, simple loop on bottom, and then I've looped that and then tied down below and created something. This could be a zipper pull. This could be for your bag on your purse so that you can get in and out of it. It can be for the kids' backpack, whatever you want it to be for. So I really like this option too. It was fun and it was easy and it just dressed it up. So simple loop, you can make just one on top or two. So we're gonna demonstrate how we do that.
Or link them together.
Or link them together.
And that's what we're gonna show here today.
Yes, so crafting is super fun, but it's important to be able to do it right. So that way you guys can be able to sell your stuff or give it away as gifts. So we've got this cute little owl here, and I've got a simple loop on the bottom and the top, and I've just linked this piece onto there. And of course, anytime you've got this simple loop, you generally want to counterbalance your circles, your holes opposite. So that way when they hang, if you're linking a whole bunch, they hang right and they don't twist up, because otherwise they'll get all twisted up. So that's why you counterbalance those so that there's one going one direction and one another direction.
They hang right that way.
And they hang right. So hopefully you guys have joined us. We've got some ball pins. Is that right?
Yep, ball pins.
Ball pins. And the gold and the silver are a 21 gauge, is that correct?
Yeah, it's listed on the website.
It's listed on the website. And then you've got two other styles. You've got the antique
and
gold, or is this antique brass?
Antique brass and gunmetal.
And then the black oxide or the gunmetal.
Yeah.
With these two, you'll always get a little bit, whatever they adhere this metal to, it doesn't do what the gold and the silver do and the black oxide, so you generally will get this in a thinner wire. So this is more of like a 22 gauge rather than a 21, but it's still solid enough that you can do a simple loop with it. Whereas if it was 22 gauge, you wouldn't be able to do a simple loop with it because then it's too thin.
Too thin.
Too thin. So then we've got our black oxide, and the black oxide, I will tell you folks that this is the hardest metal that is created in a head pin. I don't know why. It's probably got to do with
the coating,
the coating and the black of it and what they use for metal, but it's always the hardest. So make sure that when you're buying a set of cutters that you buy a good quality, because sometimes not so good quality cutters can chip and crack and break. So I've had that happen when I went to Walmart and bought just what I needed right off the bat. So make sure that you guys invest in some decent quality tools, and they've got tools here that you can purchase. So that's we only stock the lower grade. But that's all right. That's a really good start too, especially if you're going to start doing earrings and such. Got that?
Yeah.
All right. So, craft wire. Craft wire is pretty fun too.
Which they've seen several times on the video.
Yeah, you guys have seen this several times on the video. So, with earrings, you want to be using at least the highest gauge that you can. So, I wouldn't go too much to 18 gauge unless you've got a fairly large hole. 20 gauge is about perfect. 22, sometimes you can get away with it. It just depends on the pliability of what you're using. You'll get a little bit more flexibility with copper, but you can also use liver of sulfur, and you can antique this too. So you can actually end up getting this to look super similar to this. So that's another fun option in your dailies. Oh, and here's your cute little, oh gosh, this guy's adorable. Your little
hanging skeleton.
Yeah, so that's fun. And that's just a loop on the bottom and a loop on the top again. So that way you've got a connection for your charm and a connection on top for your earwear.
Yep, buy cutters at the hardware store. What is it?
Is it Hardware Sales?
Or the other one, the one that's everywhere.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Harbor Freight.
Yes,
Harbor Freight. It's
Harbor
another
Freight.
good place to buy
another
cheap
good
cutters.
place. Yeah, or just go on Amazon and find a decent quality too. So there's always that option. So let's do a single simple loop first. So I've got I think these are an antique silver. These are really cool. So they've got a little bit of blackening to them, so they look like what sterling silver actually starts to look like after it's been exposed to air and stuff. So I like this. It's a fun option. So you've got, oh, that one went through. So
it's got a big hole.
When that happens, that has a big hole. This little guy isn't going to work, so you're going to have to use one of these little guys.
That's when you use a cap.
Yeah, you use a cap, or you can use a really
helps.
small bead. So that way you've got a platform for it to sit on and it won't fall through. So there we go. Here we
Especially when they have bigger holes. Yeah, perfect.
Right. So you can get away with just having one on the bottom if that's what you desire, or you can put one on the top. But just for showing purposes, I'm not going to keep one on the top because you guys are working with your hands in a different way. If you have never done earrings before, you have to hold everything and maneuver with your hands. So I've got my finger pressed up against here so that this is up as tight as it can go, and then I'm going to use my other finger and press down. So I've got a 90-degree angle.
Perfect.
Then I have one of those fingers that is just the right size and thickness. So you've got to be able to cut. And if you can see that I've got my two other fingers here, because when I cut, this is going to fly. So I don't want this to fly around. If you have something, a blanket or a towel or anything that you use, that can be used to help.
So you used your finger to measure
I used my finger to measure
how far you were going to cut away.
Right. So now if you were doing a pair of earrings, but because I'm not showing you pairs of earrings because we could do this all day, I'm just going to show you one. But right now, if you were making a pair of earrings, you'd do the exact same thing that we just did on this other bead. And guess what? This is your measurement now. This little guy will be your measurement for your next bend, and you'll know exactly where to cut. So you'll get your earrings hanging the same length.
Yeah.
So that's pretty important to know. Then I'm holding again with the bottom, and we're going to take our round nose or needle nose pliers. So this is where some kind of guesswork, I guess, if you will, comes in. You have to know the depth that this is for the circumference, and there's a lot of guessing, but you can also see that I don't have any overhang here. If you can scratch this and it's scratching you, then you're not out far enough. And then I'm applying pressure. I'm gonna rotate down and up and over. And now that I've hit this bead, I'm gonna open this up and keep this here, and then finish that rotation forward. And I didn't quite get that rotation all the way. Didn't quite get that rotation all the way, so I'm going to go under and finish that there.
And then turn it
there
at
we
an
go.
angle.
So we can go this way so everybody can see.
Bring it forward to the camera a little bit up here.
There we go.
Right there.
All right. Sorry, guys. I guess I'm too far away, huh?
Yeah, perfect. They can totally see that.
So everybody can see what's going on there now. All right. Awesome. So
Criss has had a lot of practice with these. That's why her loop, she didn't have any extra wire. It ended up perfectly up there. Yeah.
So when I taught class I always had everybody get 20 head pins to start off. If you are watching this video and you just try and do it from memory, that's not going to be helpful for you.
Right.
You're going to need to have all the things in front of you and watch when I do it, and then copy me, so that you practice doing this,
Yeah.
because otherwise, if you go home and wait a week and have all the things and
You
lose the
don't wanna
video,
watch
then
the
you're
video
not gonna,
again.
you're not gonna have a clue what you're supposed to do. So I took 2 head pins here, and in the process of taking those head pins, I didn't want these beads to fall off. But actually, let's do this one last, because we're still doing we just did our first wrap loop, right?
Yep. No, simple loop.
We did our first, sorry, you're right. We did our first simple loop. So do we need to see that again, you think?
Yeah, go ahead and show it one more
So I
time.
will cut this off and we'll show it again. Hopefully this is the right kind of color for all of you to see. Hopefully you're able to kind of follow along, if you will. Alright, we're going to stick that bead on there, this bead cap on there again. Slide this on there, and then we're going to make our 90-degree bend.
Yep.
And then, like I said, I have a fairly slim finger, so I just know from years of doing so that this is going to be about right. So then I'm going to make my cut, and this is that piece that you want if you're doing another pair of earrings.
You can match them up. Were they the same?
You can match them up. I don't know. Let's see if they're the same.
Let's see if they're the same. They're
Oh my
exactly the
gosh,
same.
They're really close.
They're almost exactly the same. Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Little teeny.
Maybe slightly off. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
All right, and then we're going to take our round nose pliers. And the other thing I like to do is I like to tell you guys to use a pair of the permanent black pens, your Sharpies.
Oh, and mark.
And mark your tools, because if you know this is consistently where you're going to be all the time, it helps you to start doing that.
The same size loop every time.
Way every time, yeah. And that's how I got to learn how to do this, was keep doing it the same way. So I'm lining this up again. I don't have any overhang. I'm going to apply pressure down and go up and over the top.
Yep.
Whoops, I slid out. If you slide out, you want to go back in the same depth and try and finish that rotation forward and see how close you are
Perfect.
to that.
Yep.
And I wasn't quite close enough, so I'm going to come in and I can always just stand this up a little bit more. So they're very tiny movements.
Yeah.
Too much movement and you're going to get something really bent, or you'll get like a
Or
lopsided,
something that's not
you'll
round.
get a lopsided P is what most people get the first couple of times.
Yeah.
So hopefully that was helpful for you guys and you got to see what was going on there.
Yep. Awesome.
All right, and we have done the same thing here. We just used a bigger cap that covers a lot of this bead. Kind of looks like a little, hat out in the field that somebody would wear. So that's cute too. Let's go to our double loops. So this is what our double loop's going to be, where we've got something on either side, right? Here it's going to do a close up.
And then she has one this way and one 90 degrees so that they hang properly.
Right.
So the holes aren't lined up.
Exactly. So what I did with these guys, here's another tip and trick. So
your loops are perfect,
so you want your loops to be perfect. This is what you're going to do. You're going to put your 2 head pins beside each other, and they're going to be straight, right? They're not now because I already made that bend.
Yeah.
But when you do that,
you're going to make 2 at once.
You're going to make 2 at once, so you don't have to sit there and try and do any guesswork anymore.
Yeah.
So that being said, this would be the top of your loop, and this is your head pin. But we're going to end up cutting this off anyways. So you guys will see what it ends up being towards the end. So let's go use our round nose pliers. And it just seems like we might be about the same for our cuts last time. And we're going to do a rotation. Whoop. And finish there. Oh, look, I made a P. Look at me.
But you can fix it.
Yes, you can fix it. It's a little bit odd, if you will.
There you go.
There, it's a little bit odd. Not as round as I'd like it to be, but it would still work for our first time. So now we're going to flip that over and we're going to do another 90-degree bend. Right?
Yep.
Okay.
And make the loop on the other
Yep.
side.
So let's do this one because we want to try and get really close to where we were before. We're going to just do this. You can do it this way. And then see, this one turned out much nicer. I don't know if y'all can see that. Hopefully you can.
See. Yeah, that one turned out very good.
Yeah, this one turned out much better. So then we're going to flip this baby over.
Yeah.
We're going to do our 90-degree bend.
Yep.
We're going to make our cut.
Yep.
Okay. I always call myself the perfect finger. I don't got a lot of perfect things, but I got a perfect finger.
Looper finger.
Yeah, I got a perfect looper finger. That's right. Then we're going to go to the end.
Yeah.
So that we've got that going on.
Yeah, and rotate.
We're going to rotate again. And go back just a little. Just slightly under. So there we go.
Yep, looks good.
All right, so we've got a top and a bottom.
Top and a bottom. Let's see if the other one looks the same when it's done.
We are going to look and see if it looks
Wish
the same.
mine were, Rebecca says. Well, you can always find a
really
measurement
takes-
too, right? Like,
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
takes a lot of practice. It
Yeah.
does. I do make
Everything
this,
takes
I'm sorry,
practice.
I do make this
you
look
do make
easy.
it, but
I
you
do
were
make
doing
look
it
easy.
for a long time.
I was doing it for a long time before it got easy.
Yeah,
All right, so you guys can see.
and then down. Yeah,
Yeah, I want you
Right
to
here.
see
right here.
right there that there's no overhang, so
Yeah.
I don't have anything poking me.
Yeah.
I'm going to press,
Yep, a little bit. Yeah, right
rotate
there.
forward. I know
Rotate.
my finger kind of gets in the way if you guys see.
Yeah,
there
and then
we go.
flatten it. Yeah.
Yeah, go back a little because you want to keep that round.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep, that's okay. All right, now let's do a little comparison here, huh? What do we got? Ooh, looks pretty good.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you've got a green on top and a yellow on bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I always like to do a heavier, bigger bead on the bottom, but that doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you have to do that. It's
Yeah.
just my personal preference.
Yeah.
So
And now you can hang those on
now
ear
I can hang
wires.
these on an ear wire, so I'm going to flip that open. I'm going to add it to my green top, close it back up,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to do the same thing with this one. It looks like I've left this one open. Oh, green top. And then we're going to close it back up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want you to hang on to this good, because when you open this up, sometimes this can give you a little struggle. If you open it upside down, your beads are going to float down into that space that you've created, so keep it upside down.
Oh,
And then
you're
make
hanging
sure
the
to know
charm.
where your front is, so
Yeah.
that you don't put it on the wrong way, so you don't put it on backwards.
Hang your charm or
Hang your
anything you
charm
want
or
to
whatever you
tang,
want
whatever you
there.
want to dangle down there.
Oh look, I think I just did it wrong. Hit. Alright, is this going to be right? There we go.
That's right. Yeah.
So
Then
now
it
you've
dangles
got
frontwards.
the
Yep.
cutest earring.
Yeah. Oh, even
So
with the
fun
Halloween
and
colors.
easy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did get the Halloween colors. I didn't have anything too terribly orange.
Mm-hmm.
Orange is not my color, but
Yeah.
it looks really cute.
Well, they all know Garrett
Right.
like orange, so they should be able to
Garrett
find.
likes orange.
I end up with orange
Oh, I didn't know
regularly. Yeah.
It's a good visual for TV, right? For viewing. Okay, so we opened up this little guy.
And then we're
We're
going to
gonna
do the
open
antique
up
brass. You can do the same one. You don't have to do alternating colors like we're doing. We're just showing you.
But I want you
That
to
there's
know
more than
that
one
there
color.
are no rules when
Yeah.
you're making your own jewelry. If you
Yeah.
want to mix colors
Yeah.
and metals,
Yeah.
please do, because some people really like that. I like it. I happen to like using silver, gold, antique, brass. I like to use it all, so it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got those two earrings that we just did, right? Kind of easy, or so it seems easy. So I've got some pieces here that I have done that are lava. I've got some big lava beads. These are about 10 millimeter, Garrett, you'd say?
Yep.
Okay, these are about 10 millimeter. That's what I thought.
Which is on the website.
Which is on the website. And then I've created one of my circles already. And we are going to make a cut. And I did measure these all out. I cut all of my pieces from my wire, as many as I wanted to do. And I hope you guys remember that when we talked last time, we do things in 1s, 3s, 5s, 7s, 9s because it looks better. But that only applies unless you're going to do a charm down the middle of your, say you're making a necklace, you know, it's not going to work for you to do an odd. You're going to have to do 2 even on each side. So just notate that. So we've got this that we just did. We're going to rotate and do a little link. Go forward. Well, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's okay. I might have overshot it a little. And you can just fix that with your tool. So you've got a top and a bottom. And I think I actually made it a little big on one end and a little smaller on the other end. So the way you can fix that is you're gonna flip this upside down. You're gonna open this guy up and you're gonna cut just the tiniest bit. And I mean, it's tiny. And I'm gonna hold my finger there so I don't go in my eyeball.
So don't go flying.
Yeah, because I've done that before. And then we're gonna close that up and hopefully loop back this way.
And now they're the same size.
And now they're really close to the same size. At least far enough away, at least close enough in look that looking at it nobody will be able to tell.
From a distance,
So
nobody's gonna notice.
This is what we cut off, just that tiny little bit.
Teeny.
Minuscule.
Yeah.
You can't hardly even believe how much of a difference that little cut makes. So knowing that I just did that, I'm going to need to do a different cut on this one. I'm probably going to need to go a little bigger to match. So I'm going to pretend that I've got a bigger finger. I'll just go to the end.
And you used what wire on this? 20?
I used 20 gauge on this, guys and gals. So then I can see this is going to be a lot more to eat up. So I'm going to go deeper into my tool.
So it makes a bigger loop.
So it makes that bigger loop. And there we go.
Yep.
We good?
Yep.
All right.
Perfect.
And it's kind of a little bit bigger, but like I say, when you're doing your, let's say this is going to be a necklace.
Right.
So you saw that I held on to it this way, but I have to tell you that I don't want you to do this. I'm holding this oh so lightly. Anytime you apply pressure, you're going to get pressure marks in all of your metals. So you should be using this one flat so that people can see and that you're not creating those issues. Okay, so now we're going to open up this link, and we're going to open this, and we're going to attach this one.
Yep. And you just link them together.
Close it back up. And I got 7 of these or 5 of these, something. I got a lot that we could sit here and link. So now you can create a bracelet or a necklace.
Yeah.
You can do a necklace with 7 of these and some chain extension on either end to go up over your head, or you can put a piece in the back, a clasp in the back. So earrings, learning how to make earrings is not just earrings, because you can create a bracelet and you can create a necklace with this. So
you could alternate with different stones.
Alternate
with chain.
You can put charms in the middle of your pieces.
Yeah. There's double hole charms that we've had that you could link in there.
So this is what I like to do. I don't know why, but I always find these really pretty. These are your toggle clasps.
Just one side of it.
Just one side of it. So now I've got a cute little earring.
Yep.
Cute little earring here.
With a toggle piece.
With a toggle piece. And it's its own fun little design. So I use the head pin, the ball pin down below with pearls, and I think it looks super cute.
Yeah.
Another fun
Added jump rings, and you guys can sell and make chain for your necklaces and bracelets. That's
Absolutely.
right.
So here's another style of ear wire. You've got a little round ball up there.
And a spring.
And a spring. Pretty common. You're going to open this up just a little bit, as little as possible is what I say, because you don't want to compromise your metal. So what I have done here is I've made my head pin long and just made it look like, almost kind of like it's wire.
Oh,
and I've hooked it on. I'm going to close it back up, and you really have to hang onto this little ball so it doesn't fall down. Now you've got a different kind of dangle. Different kind of
Yeah.
angle entirely.
Or add 2 balls on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, do whatever you want. So it's super fun. It's a fun way to just kind of go and do your own thing.
Right.
All right, let's go to, I'm going to use one of these and I'm just going to bend it back up, y'all. And I'm going to use this guy and I'm going to show you how to use your
Hollow round
hollow
nose.
round nose. So these ones they're just different in how you use them is all. So if I go this deep into my tool, I'm going to get a certain circumference. The deeper I go, the bigger my circumference is going to be.
Yeah.
And I've got a pretty big circumference over here, so I'm going to guess that this is where I'm going to want to be. But say you want to be somewhere specific all the time, you're doing something real consistent, use your marker and put that black mark there. I swear by it, those markers really help you to be consistent.
Right.
So now that I've got this here, I'm going to apply pressure. And hopefully y'all just saw that move.
Yep.
And then I'm going to push down and I'm going to rotate up so my tool kind of comes around. And I'm going to come up underneath. So now we've got something that looks a little wonky right now, right? A little wonky. Right now. Oh, that looks even worse. So
but once you cut it,
we're going to cut now. We're going to cut, and we're going to cut on the inside, not on the outside, because then we'll have weird overhang. So I hung on to that when I cut. All right. I'm gonna rotate that back there real quick so that it gets rounded
a little better. Yeah.
And there we go. Still not perfect because you can see I mangled that.
You overshot it a little bit.
I did. I overshot a little bit, but we've got a top and a bottom. So it's really just a little bit of finessing. I have a friend who just absolutely loves this. She swears by this. It's for me, it's just not my favorite tool because it's not what I learned on.
You like the round nose.
I do like the round nose.
So you can play with both of them, see which one you like best.
A few more steps involved, just different steps.
Yeah.
Not so much a few more steps, but different steps. So you get to decide what is your preference.
That's right.
So my favorite of the head pins, y'all, is probably this antique silver. These are 2-inch. You're going to be able to get a pretty good amount of earrings out of here. 144 of these in there?
144 pieces, yeah.
So fabulous. You get a lot of bang for your buck, and you'll be able to make so many earrings. It's unbelievable. So hopefully, did we have any questions, Garrett? We didn't have anybody ask us any questions, did we?
Not really.
So, a lot of people know kind of to some degree what they're doing here. And hopefully I've helped you to know what you're doing maybe differently, or that maybe you might be doing not as correctly as you could be. So hopefully this has been really informative. Remember that we do bead sales, right, Garrett?
Yep, Wednesday and Friday.
Live. So
5 to 8 p.m. Pacific time.
Join us then, and you guys can shop till your heart's content. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you
or
again.
shop beautyandthebeadshop.com 24/7.
See you again.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow night. Bye.